Buffalo Soldiers, Animal House, and Elizabeth Cheney are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is July 28th, 2022. It is the 209th day of the year. There are 156 days left in this year. It is the 30th Thursday in the 31st week and the 38th day of summer. You got 56 days left until fall. If today's your birthday, you're still a Leo. Today is Buffalo Soldier Day. Buffalo Soldier Day on July 28th commemorates the formation of the first regular Army regiment comprised of African American soldiers in 1866. Congress established the first peacetime all-black regiment in the regular U.S. Army after the end of the Civil War. Now, there were other ones that were thrown together during the Civil War, but this was the first one that was actually put down on paper and was established, or first instituted. Since they were a frontier regiment, Buffalo Soldiers of the 9th and 10th Cavalries protected unsettled lands as pioneers moved westward. They also faced the hardships of the Wild West. During and after the Civil War, Army desertion rates remained high. However, among Buffalo Soldiers, the rate was extremely low. They were also noted for their dedication and commitment during the Spanish-American War. During World War I, each unit received stateside assignments with some exceptions, yet neither unit saw any action during World War II. In 1944, the Army activated both regiments and transferred service members to other units as integration in the military began. In honor of the first Buffalo Soldier Day in 1992, General Colin Powell dedicated a monument to the Buffalo Soldier. You know, I'm sure I heard it when it happened, but I just read the other day that he actually died of COVID, and I know I heard it when it happened, but that was just in like early 2021. Too bad. Great man. The Buffalo Soldier Monument is located at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, where the 10th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers were based. The Buffalo Soldier Museum is located in Houston, Texas. On September 6, 2005, the oldest Buffalo Soldier died. Mark Matthews lived to be 111 years old. For his dedicated service, he was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. Now, before we get going here, if you hear a scratching sound during this, there's nothing I could do. We're in the middle of a heat wave and I own a rabbit and I've had to bring him into my office. So he's scratching occasionally. And I've been trying to do this video for about an hour and I've finally given up. We're gonna deal with the scratching. All right, let's see what else July 28th has given us. 1868, the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution is certified, establishing African American citizenship and guaranteeing due process of law. You know, because we grow up in a time like this, you know, where things are a lot different, but it still is bizarre thinking that there was a point where they had to pass a law to make sure that happened. Strange. And that and the one where women weren't allowed to vote. How is that okay? 1932, U.S. President Herbert Hoover orders the United States Army to forcibly evict the bonus army of World War I veterans gathered in Washington, D.C. After victory in World War I, the U.S. government promised in 1924 that servicemen would receive a bonus for their service in the war. The thing is, they said they couldn't get this money till 1945. The bonus was also known as the Tombstone Bonus. A few years after the promise of this bonus, the Great Depression hit, beginning with the stock market collapse in 1929. So things were getting tight. Basically, this is what happened. The World War Adjustment Compensation Act of 1924 had awarded them the bonuses in the form of a certificate that they could eventually collect in 1945, like I'd said. Each certificate issued to a qualified veteran bore a face value to the soldier's promised pay with compounded interest. Well, as the Great Depression kept rolling through, a lot of these people were getting desperate. People were on the streets. The Great Depression put everyone on the street, and these veterans had this. Many of the veterans had been out of work since the beginning of the Great Depression. So in mid-1932, a little over 40,000 demonstrators and about 17,000 veterans of World War I, their families, and some affiliate groups gathered in Washington, D.C. to demand an early cash redemption of their service bonus certificate. And that was their main thing. They wanted their bonus, and they wanted it now because times were tough and they were starving. A lot of them were just in really bad shape. Well, on July 28, 1932, U.S. Attorney General William D. Mitchell ordered the veterans removed from all government property. Washington police went in to do this, and the protesters, gave them some resistance. They fired on the crowd, killing 2 of the veterans. So President Herbert Hoover ordered the U.S. Army to clear the marchers' campsite. Army Chief of Staff General Douglas MacArthur commanded the contingent of infantry and cavalry supported by tanks. The Bonus Army marchers, with their wives and children, were driven out, and their shelters and all their belongings were burned. Not a proud moment for the United States government. Well, there was a couple more marches as time went on, and Roosevelt was now the president. And finally, in 1936, Congress overrode President Roosevelt's veto and paid the veterans their bonus 9 years early. 1942, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin issues Order 227. All those who retreat or otherwise leave their positions without orders to do so are to be tried in a military court, with punishments ranging from being assigned to a prison battalion and still fighting, imprisonment in the Gulag, which is their military prison thing, or execution. 1969, the Vietnam War. This is just a wartime day, I guess. U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson announces his order to increase the number of United States troops in South Vietnam from 75,000 to 125,000. 1996, the remains of a prehistoric man are discovered near Kennewick, Washington. Which remains will become known as the Kennewick Man. Movies released on July 28th, 1978, one of the greatest comedies of all time, Animal House. Classic John Landis directed comedy about a rowdy fraternity on the verge of being kicked off their college campus in 1962. It was ranked as #1 on Bravo's 100 Funniest Movies of All Time list. That was in 2013. Such a great movie. One interesting fact about it. So it was filmed at the University of Oregon down there in Eugene, right? Well, they have a scene where they go to a black music club, like a bar, and so they're trying to film it in Eugene. Well, they didn't have enough African Americans living in Eugene to be extras, so they had to bus them in from Portland. There's only 20 of African Americans in that bar. What was going on in Eugene back then? Born on July 28th, 1966, Elizabeth Cheney. She is a former Fox News political analyst and daughter of Dick Cheney, the vice president. She became a member of the U.S. House of Representatives for Wyoming in 2017. In 1996, she graduated from the University of Chicago Law. She was a cheerleader in high school. She has 5 children with her husband, Philip Perry, and she is the eldest daughter of Vice President Dick Cheney, like I'd said. And these days, she's in hot water with her political party because she joined the January 6 hearings. She was born in Madison, Wisconsin. Died on July 28th, 2021, Ron Popeil, American inventor and TV personality who popularized the phrase, "But wait, there's more." He died at the age of 86. Popeil was born to a Jewish family in Manhattan in 1935. When he was 6, his parents divorced, and he and his brother went to live with their grandparents in Florida. At age 17 in 1952, he went with his grandparents to work for his father's company, Popeil Brothers, manufacturing facility in Chicago. His grandparents later returned to Florida, and Popeil remained with his father. He went on to college, and after returning he continued to work and learn from his father, who was also an inventor, salesman for various kitchen-related gadgets, such as the Chop-O-Matic and the Veg-O-Matic. The Chop-O-Matic retailed for $3.98 and sold over 2 million units. So back in the day when he was coming up, a lot of their products were sold door-to-door with door-to-door salesmen. Well, the problem arose with the Chop-O-Matic that you couldn't see what it did unless you had vegetables to chop, and it was hard for a door-to-door salesman to walk around with vegetables all day. So they decided to film a demonstration and make a commercial out of it, and this would make it easier for the door-to-door salesman to sell it. People had seen the commercial. It worked. Eventually, he became the pitch man for that and just about anything else that company came up with. Ron Popeil died on July 28, 2021 at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. He was 86 years old. He was sent there a day earlier for a medical emergency, but no cause of death was given. He's 86 years old, but later his sister, Lisa Popeil, said the cause of death was a brain hemorrhage. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.